Hey, how's it going, guys? Ricky Summer here, and today I've come back in time to finally play Evil Genius 2. Speaking of evil organizations, here's a message from our sponsor.
Nexus Security. Protecting you from the unknown beyond the Nexus.
Alright, welcome to Evil Genius 2. No word of a lie, I've been waiting 17 years to play this game, and I'm so pogged out of my freaking gourd for it. I played I think 15 hours since release. I've been a little bit obsessed with the game, honestly, and it's a great sign. So I played loads of the original Evil Genius. It's probably one of my all-time favorite games. It's right up there with the original Dungeon Keeper, and even Dungeon Keeper 2 to a slightly lesser extent. But that original Dungeon Keeper, just the tone of it really hit me. It was beautiful. But I've always loved those subterranean lair building management games. There's something about the carving out of tunnels and rooms and whatnot for making space for minions and nefarious schemes. It's always gotten to me. I freaking love it. And we've had a few games like that over the past 5-10 years or so, but unfortunately very, very few of them have really scratched that itch. I haven't quite captured the original magic of, Dungeon Keeper and Evil Genius, the original Evil Genius. So the original Evil Genius came out in 2004, which means I was like 13, 14 or so. And even then, I could feel it was unfinished. And it was a bit notorious for that. Everyone knew that it was an unfinished game or was pushed out too soon. I think they ran out of time and or funding, and so they couldn't complete their original vision. So what that manifested in was a very linear, limited feeling game. As fun as it was, once you completed the campaign, there wasn't a lot of reason to do it again. If I remember correctly, it's been a while. The games are up on GOG and I think even Steam as well, so I'll put the links in the description to those if you want to check them out, because the original game is still good, it's still worth a play. But if I remember correctly, there were 2 different islands, but the progression was linear. You couldn't choose between the 2, you beat one and then you beat the next. You could choose your Evil Genius, but I think there were only 2. I have a vague memory of a third, but I don't remember what it is. There was the classic Maximilian, who was, basically Dr. Evil, without the kitty and the mini-me. And then there was a female supervillain who was I'm not sure what her analog was. I haven't watched a lot of Bond movies, but I'm sure there's an analog to her somewhere in the Bond movies. But she was very, glamorous and commanding, and she was fun too. So, straight off the bat, what is Evil Genius 2 and how does it compare to the original Evil Genius? Well, this is how I describe it. Evil Genius 2 is less of a sequel and more of, not even a remake, but like a redo. It's almost like they took the original Evil Genius and they went, alright, how do we remake this, but better? Let's finish it. It's like they remade Evil Genius 1 and finished it. It's not an exact carbon copy, so there are new Evil Geniuses, with the exception of Maximilian, who I believe is the only original one from the original game. But there's 3 other Evil Geniuses. There's a science-based one, there's a deception-based one, and a muscle-based one. So you've got a little bit of almost a class to choose from. And Maximilian remains the all-rounder. Now, what's really cool about this is, at first I'm like, okay, it's probably just like a cosmetic change. You get a little bit of a different personality from the different Evil Geniuses. No. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. Aside from the visual change of their inner sanctum, which has a different chair for everyone and a different conference table for everyone, which I really appreciate. Aside from that, they all seem to have different plans. So when you run the campaign with different Evil Geniuses, essentially the mid to end game is different. Not so different that you're basically playing a different game, but the steps you go through are different. Their ultimate plan is different. For example, I've gotten to the point where, what is her name? It's Emma, I think, she's the deception Evil Genius. That's who I'm playing right now. I gotta say, her conference table is friggin' dope, by the way. Love that. Look at it go. Anyway, just pogging out of my gourd. Love this game so much. So, she's the deception genius. And, mild spoilers, she wants to gas the world, basically, with Project Venom. Whereas Zalika, the science Evil Genius, who's the other one that I've played so far, she wants to brainwash the world. So you have to build like a different item for her. At this point in the story, I had actually built different equipment in the inner sanctum for her story, which is really interesting. I really like that, which means that just straight off the bat, there's 4 different playthroughs in that already. But on top of that, you've also got 3 different islands to choose from. Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna take you back to the main menu, and I'm gonna go through the process of loading up a new game so I can show you some of that. All right, let's go new game here. We've got a quick start, which just jumps you into a medium game with Maximilian. We've got create new, which is the campaign, and we've got sandbox. Now, sandbox still allows you to select your evil genius. Let's go Zalika, just for the sake of argument. We can select our lair, which I'll show you in greater detail in a second. And, you know, DLC, pre-order kind of stuff. By the way, I didn't buy this game. I didn't get a review copy. I was actually gifted by Christoph, who's a very generous member of the community. So thank you very much for that. So let's run back, because it just starts you off right there. So there's no difficulty options. As far as I can tell, the sandbox mode gives you all minions straight off the bat. So there's no progression in getting new minions, but you do still have to research things. So at least there's that. But it seems to be more of a like build up your evil lair the way you want to build it. It's probably a little more relaxing. But let's go back to new game. Let's go create new. This is actually my preferred way to play, because it does have the progression of the minions, which I quite like. I like that early game of, you know, taking it slow, and then piece by piece you're building up your empire. I really like that. So Maximilian, Red Eye Ivan, who's your muscle guy, Zalika, who's your science girl, and Emma, who's the ex-CIA, like spy master. Yeah. She's very good. She's got a spider chair. Freaking love it, man. All right. So let's go to the let's go to the islands. So we've got a choice of 3 islands, which already, I freaking love this. This is what I dearly wanted in the original Evil Genius. You know, this is back in the day. This is how it was. You didn't have YouTube channels giving you all the deets on every game that's ever released. You know, you didn't have a million people like me just talking nonsense about games. You had to ferret out information. I played Evil Genius, and I'm like, yo, this is so good, but I want more. Like, is there an Evil Genius 2? What's up? And, you know, that's when, you know, you hear people talking in forums, it's rumor and conjecture, the game was unfinished, this and that. There was like a 3rd island planned, and I'm like, man, I really wish I got it. And here we are in the year 2021, 17 years later, your boys finally got it. All right, so let's go to details, because this is the important part. How the island looks on the outside doesn't really matter. But we've got like threat levels of your different forces. So each of the world powers are split up into Saber, Patriot, Hammer, Anvil, and Smash. And based on your location, which you can actually see up there, you'll see where you are located in the world based on what you select. Now, what's important here is the multiple floors. Oh yes, I think I actually can't remember if there were multiple floors in the original. I feel like there was, but maybe it was a little more story based. That was my issue with the original. It was very linear, which just doesn't jive with me. For this sort of game, you know, like a management game, I want it to be open-ended. And make no mistake, this is not so open-ended that it's like, you haven't got random maps and that sort of thing, but it's a lot more open-ended than the original was, which I really appreciate. So what's great here is you can actually look through all the different levels here. And of course you start here on the level with the front, the casino. So let's have a look at that. This is the one I was the previous save that I showed you at the start of the video. This is what I'm using. This kind of choke point 2-pillared thing, which I quite like. And then you got this one here as well. So I haven't like gotten to the end of the scheme yet, but I think that thing there, which is present in all maps, is maybe where like you build the super weapon, where you build the rocket. That's how it was in the original, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so anyway, depending on where you start, of course the lair is different. but also who might be attacking you is also different. For example, this one here, which is... Where is this located? Get back over there. The one near Australia. The Can Key is what it's called. We don't really need to worry about Patriot because that's the US, so they're probably not going to make the trek all the way over to where we are. Anyway, we'll select the DLC here, and then we can select our difficulty. Now, I highly recommend that maybe you don't do the tutorial. Or, like, you can do the tutorial, but don't, like, play the whole campaign with the tutorial, because it is my opinion that the tutorial kind of ruins the flow of the campaign. It makes it feel extremely linear the way that the first game was. Now, as soon as I turn the tutorial off, I'm like, yes. Yeah, Emma's got it. She's got it up there. I'm like, yes, this is my jam 100%. But the tutorial just really holds your hand through every step of the process. You have to build your rooms the exact size that it specifies. You don't really have a choice there, and the first couple of rooms have to be built, you know, where they tell you to build them. Now, you can move them. You can actually fill in rooms and completely rebuild your base, which is great. That's often something I wish that I had in these subterranean lair building games. The fact that, you know, the ability to fill out your rooms and rebuild. So it's great that we have that. Complete freedom to build wherever you want. But yeah, just like it really, like, it holds your hand to the point of like, what are we even doing here? You know, it's not that hard to grasp. So maybe like if you're completely lost, do just like maybe 30 minutes of the tutorial, and then start a new campaign. Turn the tutorial off, and you're good to go. But yeah, so the difficulty is just going to like increase the salary of your minions, the cost of schemes, and like how persistent the forces of justice are in hunting you down. And make no mistake, it can even on medium, it can be difficult. Like I've lost before. In fact, on that note, let's run it back. Let's go back to my current campaign save. And we're back. All right. So speaking of losing, I've already lost this game. So I ran I went back to a previous save to try and fix what I did, fix where I messed up. So what I think I did was basically not train my minions up to be tough enough. It's a combination of not having enough muscle minions, which I've started to rectify a little bit. In fact, let's like bump. How many have we got? So we've got a lair capacity of 97. We've got currently 91 minions, 51 workers. So you know what? Let's go 20 muscle minions, up from 10, which means we'll end up with roughly 45 workers, which is fine with me. That's fine with me. So it's a combination of having enough muscle to actually beat the invaders, but then also, you know, having them be just like equipped. So we go to research here. And minions, so I've upgraded them with bats. What I want to do next is pistols. I want them to be able to shoot. So let's do that. Okay. So what I love about this is the height. You know, let's go down a level here. We've got 4 levels plus a basement, which I haven't gotten to yet. But you've actually got a lot of freedom, customization, in like tweaking things and being a little more efficient. So my initial plan here was, we've got this kind of this 2-chambered base here with a choke point in the middle, which is where they enter. This is the casino, the front. Every map has this. This is where all the forces of good, forces of justice will come in from. Without any exceptions, I don't think. I've never seen them come in from the helipad, which is where we send minions out to the world stage to run schemes and get money and whatnot. So they always come in through here, so at least you've got a choke point to defend. You know where they're going to come in from, which is great. So I've got some advanced guard posts. I think they're advanced. They are advanced guard posts, yes. So we've got our muscle minions patrolling there, which is great. We've got some poison dart traps, but they're not cutting the mustard. I think I've actually gotten a little bit behind here. I need to do a little more work, a little more research, which is why I've set up a secondary research area. So previously, this chunk of dirt here was my laboratory, or whatever it's called. What is it called? Yeah, it's a It's a laboratory. All right, you got it. Anyway, that's where it was before, but it was a little bit small. You know, I had one of each item within it. So I wanted to expand. So that's why I came down here. I built out this this stair area, and I've set up basically an enclosed little research area. So you've got a spot for the scientists to conduct their research, and then they can have their meals here, they can rest here, and then they can regain their smarts here, which is one of the stats they require. So there's actually a lot of management involved. Like, I would say 40 to 50% of the game is managing your minions. Getting them to work for you, yes, but then also making sure that their stats, smarts, and morale, and of course vitality, don't drain to the point that they become useless, they become easy victims to, you know, invading forces of justice, or even worse, like the morale drops to the point that they defect and you just lose them, which is horrible. I've gotten to that point where, like, I've just been beaten down so hard by the forces of justice that all the minions are just like, I'm out of here, man. I'm bouncing. I'm gone. Anyway, so you'll notice that I've set up a lot of items within the lab here, just so that we can get research going a lot faster. My current research, which I just showed you, the pistol rack, which will allow our muscle minions, our guards, to actually grab pistols from the armory to shoot forces of justice, that requires one scientist and one impact analyzer. So I've built 2 impact analyzers, which use a lot of power and are very expensive to build. I think they're like 20,000? No, they're 30,000. They're $30,000 or gold. But it'll actually tell you here, because I've got 2 of them, and because I have enough scientists to staff them, my research speed is actually 2. Now it's back down to 1 because one of the scientists is probably gone off. He's going to do something else. And this one's getting hungry here. Can we have a look at that? Yeah, there we go. Smarts is going down, so she's going to eventually come over here to replenish her smarts. I could also, like, put stuff in here, like decor. Some of these, like, they're mostly cosmetic, but some of these items will actually help. Like, for example, the aircon will actually slow the drain of morale, which is great. I'm not sure if there's an item that will slow the drain of smarts. I've seen it before, but maybe not in this room. Might also have to research it. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go there. So progression, there's actually a few different layers of progression. There's progression of your minions. There's progression of like the world stage as well. And there's progression of buildings and items within your lair. So it kind of all interconnects in an interesting way. Some minions are required to unlock certain objects within rooms to be able to conduct, like, further research. For example, like, most obvious example is you need scientists in order to, like, build more advanced items to conduct science, you know? So if we go back here, like, there's a lot going on. There's enough going on that I'm like I can't remember all of it, but look, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, look, you don't get these more advanced, like the impact analyzer, you don't get it straight off the bat. You have to progress to that point. Yeah, so you need the right minions. You need to be able to upgrade your minions, and then also you need the right objects, the right rooms, and combining those 2 together allow you to, you know, continue your progression. But then you've also got the world stage, which is where you get your money from, and you basically you essentially spend minions to conduct schemes, to further quests, get henchmen, unlock new technologies, get new minions, and make money. So the way this works, let me just wind it back a little bit here. We've got this room here, the control room, which allows us to build radio repeaters, and each radio repeater allows us to scout out one territory on the world stage, right? So get over there, buddy, get over there. Such as this one here, Western Saber territories. So once you've scouted that out, actually, you know what? Let me find one that is not currently doing anything, like here. Here we go. Okay. So this is Eastern Patriot States. So we've scouted this out. We've got a control network here, which means that we can run schemes. So currently, I've got the ability to gain 10,000 gold in 3 minutes and spend 3 workers. Now, let me pause here because we've got an issue over here. The way this works is you send 3 workers out to complete the scheme, but the conceit is you don't want them coming back and like bringing the forces of justice with them. The forces of justice will find you anyway. Don't you worry about that. But the idea is that, like, you know, if they lead the forces of justice directly to your base, it's going to be like there's legitimate evidence it's incriminating, you know, so you don't want that. So basically you spend them and they take a little bit of gold and they live out their lives after completing the scheme. So now the workers we've sent just live here, and they're going to live a quiet life and stay under the radar. So in that way, we are literally spending workers as a resource. So we can get gold like that, but we need to pay attention to our heat in the area. So we've got 40 out of 50 heat. And this one here is going to bump us up additional 15 heat, so the math doesn't work out. If we exceed our heat, the state will go, the region will go into lockdown, and we won't be able to do anything. So what we want to do is reduce heat. Now we have a couple of options here. I actually really like this, depending on whether you have excess workers or whether you have excess gold. So this one here will take 20 minutes. It's going to cost 3 workers, but it's going to reduce 50 heat. That's all the heat. Or we can do this one here, which is going to cost 10,000 gold. And it's only going to take 10 seconds, and it doesn't cost any workers. Now, I got enough gold that I'm actually going to do that. So let's speed up here. We'll wait this out. And there we go. We're good to go. So now we can run a new scheme. So there's a little bit of a balance here. Let me see if I can find another one. Okay, here we go. Here's a perfect example. So this is going to give us 50,000 gold. It's going to cost 6 workers, which isn't a huge deal, but it's going to take 35 minutes. Now that might sound like a good deal, but I think I'd much rather this take 3 minutes and give me 10,000 gold, and I'll just run these more often. Now you might have to run the numbers on what is more worth it in the long run. You also need to consider that this uses like twice as many workers, but it's over a longer period of time. So I don't know, but I've been having more success, I think, running the shorter schemes. And then you've got so much more on top of that. If that's all it was, fine. All right, whatever. But let me pause, man, because there's like, this is the game, you know. Sometimes there's a lull where you're just like waiting for things to happen, and that's like maybe my only criticism of the game. I think the original might have been like that too. But, you know, depending how you play it, I believe you can play it in a way like how I've just shown you doing the short schemes, where there's like a lot going on and you will have to like pause to assess things. So let's go to the objectives. So we've got the main objective here. Let me collect this reward. We've got the main objective, which is currently, it's kind of in between schemes. I don't want to spoil anything. It's just, oh man, it's each evil genius. You got 4 evil geniuses. Each one's scheme is different, which is kind of huge. Like you think, you look at it and you think, oh yeah, it's just like a palette swap, maybe a couple different abilities. No, like the mid to end game plays out differently depending on which genius you pick. It's like, oh man, this, it just gets me, man. Anyway, let's go back to objectives. Please, right click just cancels out of everything, so gotta be careful there. Okay, so side stories. This is a whole other thing, man. So with side stories allow you to recruit new minions. For example, this one here. So this is a perfect example of what I was talking about before, where getting new minions unlocks new things for you. So this is going to unlock, I'm not sure who, maybe the socialite. A fresh approach is required, and there's any number of promising candidates out there, bring one back. I think this will unlock the socialite, which is a more advanced valet. And this is going to, there we go, there, new minion type, socialite, there you go. So this is going to give us the refreshment bar, the welcome desk, and the piano, which is, those are all items for the casino, for the front, which means we're going to be able to distract the forces of justice more easily before they even reach our base. So it's like, this is the first line of defense, the distraction game. And then once they get into the base, then it's traps, then it's guards, you know. We can still distract them when they're in there, but only if they're susceptible to it. There's different levels of the forces of justice, and some will not be distracted. It's going to be a fight no matter what. And this ties into what I was talking about before in that I lost this particular save because I just got attacked by 2 different groups of the Forces of Justice who will all fight, and I was not ready for the fight. The ones that can be distracted, I can deal with them fine, but when it comes to fighting, we're not there yet. So maybe I need more traps, which means I need to do more research, or I need tougher minions, which means I need to do more research, or do stuff on the world stage, or do some side objectives here, some side stories, which ties into stuff on the world stage. Okay, so we've also got the Merc we can recruit here. However, I can't currently because I've already got a side story active, and that's this one here. So you've got, as far as I can tell, you've got upgraded minions to recruit through side missions. You've got henchmen to recruit through side missions. Let me show you. We've got Janet Bomb over here, and this is great. I chose Janet Bomb, right? It gets to the point in the campaign, like you do have objectives in the campaign, so it might seem linear, but you do get a choice within those objectives. It's like complete a recruit henchman mission, but you can pick whichever one you want. I think it gives you 4 or 5 straight off the bat, but there's more than that, I'm pretty sure, and I'll show you why I think that in a second. Oh man, it's like, you look at this game and it's like, yeah, okay, I get it, but then you play it and you delve a little deeper and it's like, oh no, wait, there's actually more lying under the surface here. It's pretty friggin' rad. Anyway, Janet Bomb is like a hacker and whatnot. It's the stories behind them are all pretty nice. Like everyone's got a good, an interesting personality. The caricatures, of course, but you know, they've got a personality and it's kind of fun. So I quite appreciate that. So recruiting new minions, recruiting henchmen, luring out like Forces of Justice. Here we go. Super Agent. We've got a Super Agent here. This is the guy who killed me most recently. So we want to try and lure him out, kill him, and for our troubles, we'll get 100,000 gold for that. You've also got like competitors, which I think is who I'm dealing with right now, the Roboticist. I thought the Roboticist was going to be a henchman, but it seems like she's just straight up a competitor. She's like a competing evil genius. It's like so freaking cool, man. She whipped my ass too. Like she comes in with like robot henchmen. I'm like, what? I'm like flipping the frig out. There is actually a lot more here than it first seems. And then you can also grab loot, which I haven't quite done yet, so I'm not super sure of the significance of it. But that's, you know, it's all pretty cool there. Oh man, oh, I love this freaking game. Anyway, so like let's try and wrap this up here because I'll never stop talking about this game. I will never stop playing. Let's go to statistics here. So this is what I'm talking about, right? So if we go to our rogues gallery, have a look at the henchmen here. So when you get to the point in the campaign where it's like, yo, recruit a henchman, and it gives you 4 options. These are all the possible henchmen. I'm pretty sure in the original game there were like maybe 3, 4 max. There was a guy with the afro. There was a samurai guy, I'm pretty sure. And I don't remember who else, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. And I know there's a season pass and they're planning DLC, so there's going to be 2 more henchmen, a new evil genius, and some more furniture, like decor, I think, as well, which is huge. Like, I think, like, I'm usually not a fan of season passes, just in general, but if let's forget about the business side of it just for a second. Let's not worry about that, because like that is potentially an issue, but let's forget about that just for a second. Just the fact that they're going to add another evil genius. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm ready. I'm a ready boy. All right. And you know, we keep track of our minions here. We've got 4 different minion types per sub category. We've got different classes of agents that come in, and these are the super agents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's John Steele. I know of 1 other super agent. No, 2 other super agents I am aware of. So there's still 3 that I haven't even seen. And I think I'm 9-10 hours into this save specifically. I just, like, I'm already excited for my next playthrough. Like, I've got a strategy here. Like, this was my self-contained minion area. So if they stumble into this area, it's like, it's not conspicuous. It's just a bunch of people, you know, hanging out in the cafeteria, you know? Then you go down deep and you got the research layer. But then over here, down the long corridor, is where the nefarious shit goes on, you know? You've got the inner sanctum. You've got the main control room, which I eventually want to move this completely over to here, which I can do. And you'll see that we've got another barracks here and what was it called? A mess hall to service the guys working in the control room. And then we go down a layer deep. We've got more power over here. We've got our treasury. And then a layer deeper is going to be like, well, we'll see. I kind of want to move the inner sanctum deeper to protect it. This area we're going to have to do some research to be able to break through this rock. And then we go down to the deepest area, which actually has gold to mine out, which is friggin' rad. And more space to build. And this like connects both sides. And then you've got the choice of 3 different islands to choose from. So they're all different. They're all beautifully... Like, the game's just got so much personality. I think the only criticism I can level against it is sometimes it feels like a bit of a waiting game. It can feel like a bit of a waiting game with the world stage events, some of the things you have to do. It's possible. And, you know, maybe you could argue that the game doesn't really innovate. But considering that the original was unfinished, I think I kind of appreciate... Like, usually I'm like, sequels... I'm of the opinion that sequels need to do something new. But, it just doesn't feel like a sequel to me. It's like, it's called Evil Genius 2, but it's really like Evil Genius the way it should have been, is how I feel about it. And I'm really enjoying the hell out of it. I mean, with, 33 minutes into the video or so, I haven't taken a single breath, my guys. Love this game so much. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. You let me know in the comments, did you play the original Evil Genius? Or any of the other, like, subterranean layer building games, like Dungeon Keeper? Let me know which one was your favorite and why. And have you played Evil Genius 2? What do you think of it? What do you think of it from what you've seen so far? I know it's like we're a little bit scattered here just because I'm so friggin' flipped out of my gourd about this game. But in a nutshell, yeah, this is what I wanted the original Evil Genius to be. And I'm so glad that we finally have it after 17 years. I'm going to go play more Evil Genius 2, guys. So, for the moment, thank you very much for watching. Be excellent to each other. And I'll see you next time. Ricky Summer. Out.